9-year-old with autism gets arrested at school. Police reluctantly reveal the true story. Teachers are constantly exposed to students from all different walks of life. Sometimes it can be super difficult when you put yourself in the shoes of others when you come from a background and upbringing completely different than the students you're surrounded by each and every weekday. But your job as a teacher is to be able to overcome those obstacles in an effort to shape kids into good and upstanding members of society. Ronnie Shepherd and his 9-year-old son would soon come across a teacher who arguably failed to uphold their obligations they made to their students upon taking the job in the first place. Some people think the actions taken were justified, while others are still to this day completely outraged. Be sure to stick around for the whole story so you can form your own opinion. Ronnie Shepherd and his 9-year-old son reside in Franklin, Indiana. His son was diagnosed with relatively severe autism from a very young age and was put into the properly advised classes in school for his particular situation so that he could get the best education possible. Unfortunately, kids can be very cruel to each other, especially when they pick up on someone among them acting differently than themselves. So it wasn't uncommon for the other students to sometimes go out of their way and pick on Ronnie's son because of the way he acted and how he was a little bit slower than everyone else picking up on certain things. Usually the issues were diffused rather quickly and it wasn't a huge deal. But one particular incident was the straw that broke the camel's back, and one that Ronnie's son would never forget. One day Ronnie's son was outside for recess when another student came up to him and started giving him trouble. Several students claimed that the altercation broke out over the two having a disagreement over a butterfly. What happens next is where details get a bit unclear, and the results vary depending on who you ask. Ronnie's son allegedly wrapped his hands around the boy's neck, and then when the teacher came to intervene and put it all to an end, he allegedly also wrapped his hands around the teacher's neck as well. Friends of the opposing students are saying that Ronnie's son acted completely crazy and wasn't provoked in the slightest way, while others are saying that this was the 4th day in a row the other student was bothering Ronnie's son, and that Ronnie's son had enough and went into defense mode. And although the staff at the school was alerted multiple times that the other student was picking on Ronnie's son, they failed to address the problem and do anything about it. Ronnie's son also apologized to the teachers involved after the incident because clearly he didn't mean to act that way towards them. But the damage was already done. The school was locked down and the police came and arrested Ronnie's autistic son. They put handcuffs on him and then walked him out to one of their patrol cars. Once loaded up into one of the cars, he was taken to a juvenile detention center for 20 minutes and then charged with juvenile battery and criminal mischief, though the charges were quickly dropped right after. But just because the charges were dropped, it doesn't mean that the incident hasn't had a long-lasting effect on Ronnie's son. Footage was captured when Ronnie's son was handcuffed by police and escorted out of the school, resulting in him becoming quite traumatized over the whole ordeal.